What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Appropriate Culture, here for episode 10, where we're going to be talking about self-improvement. Enjoy. And we're live.
Welcome back.
I feel like we gotta tell our viewers how we try to change it up and have Brandon get us popping, and he had quite the energy up, and he just broke our equipment and just shut down.
I mean, actually, it's not the first time. There's something. It's actually, and it's happened for me like kind of throughout my life at different times. But sometimes if I get a little excited, I tend to make electronics malfunction. I've like broken video cameras before, and when we
Like that last time.
Every
time you went off on BLM, Black Lives Matter stuff, the camera just kept shutting down. I was like, yo, we got to erase this camera here in the house. It was like 3 times in a row. Yeah. And you just kept, every time you got a little more heated, the camera would shut down again. Hey, I'm like, yo, you need to calm down, dog.
It's the Qigong, yo. You got to get on that Qigong, that like Tai Chi ruler, get that energy going.
This is a good segue, because I bet you probably use that for self-improvement.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's one of my main. Actually, that is my number one recommendation. Anyone who's trying to improve themselves,
the number one
is meditation, and Qigong and yoga and Tai Chi are all forms of meditation.
Word. I actually agree with that. So for those who don't know, we're going to be going into everything about self-improvement. Breaking it all down from facets between mind, body, and soul. I feel like that'll pretty much cover it all. I'm sure we'll miss some stuff, but what I would like to highlight is us to share some of our secrets on what we use and do to get improvements in life, to improve as a human being. And so that was actually going to be one of my questions to you, which would be like your number one tip. I was going to ask later, but seems like we just jumped into it. Tell me more about how long have you been meditating?
Word. So yeah, I got into meditation pretty consistently, and like I would say for real in 2007. I actually I had like heard of meditation as a kid, and usually people were making fun of it, or like I'd put it in, like in high school I made films, so we did like kung fu movies, and we'd like put it in there, like the characters would be meditating, and then the bad guy comes in and starts a fight, like tries to kill him or whatever. So that was like, I really almost thought of meditation as like a joke, or I really didn't understand it until about 2007. I was actually the first time I heard of not the first time, but the first time I really started to recognize the law of attraction as a like principle in the universe, after seeing The Secret, which the law of attraction is a principle of the universe that basically says that you attract people, experiences, things that are of a like vibration, or are related to things that you think about and that you focus on. And really, like, it's more activated by your feeling. Like, how you feel about something is what you're going to attract, like similar vibrations or similar things in the future. But in 2007, I read this book related to the law of attraction called The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire by Deepak Chopra. And that was the book that, in that book, he kind of outlines some basic transcendental meditation techniques. And so that was the book that taught me meditation. And I actually met Deepak Chopra, and I told him he taught me meditation. I thanked him. I gave him a copy of The Law of One, which is one of my favorite spiritual texts.
Had he already come across it?
He had, yeah. I was like, have you heard of The Law of One? And he's like, yeah, I have actually, yeah. And then I was like, oh, cool. I gave him that. I also gave him like a bag full of like Kite Hill. I worked for them at the time, so I had all types of free stuff.
That's what's up.
But yeah, so that taught me meditation, and I've been interested in self-improvement since early on, like really high school is when I started to get into it. But in all of my endeavors, everything I've learned, and all of my self-improvement, explorations, meditation is definitely the most powerful and the most transformative, for mind, body, and spirit. It's really is just like helps improve your mind, help you think clearly, and really it's just like gives you like a deep confidence because you're not as like grounded in the material world. You're like grounded on something that's deeper, that isn't affected by transitory emotions and circumstances. So really my number one tip, for self-improvement in any area is to start with a clear mind, and the best way to do that is through meditation.
Yeah, it seems like it's a good way to clean house mentally. Yeah. Sort of keep things organized, because I don't think many of us approach it like that, but your head works like a computer in many ways. Yeah. And oh yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. We didn't cheers.
Cheers. And so if you don't come in there and do some cleanup, don't feel surprised if you feel like your head is cloudy or if you're carrying too much mentally. Mm-hmm. And that shit weighs you down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in the, the day to day, the minute by minute, like transitory stuff. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of a quote, is attributed to the Buddha. I don't know if it's actually his, but just as like muddy water, when you sit it and let it settle in a glass, like it'll clear, and all the the mud and the dirt will settle to the bottom. And it's the same with meditation. It's like if you allow your mind to just like settle and just clear out, a lot of the stuff, the crazy thoughts and the anxieties and stuff will kind of just settle.
Which that is a big problem nowadays. I think anxiety, I don't know if it's number one, but it's up there as far as like overall problems that the average person is dealing with.
Yeah. And as far as self-improvement goes, that's, if you can clear yourself of anxiety and like worry, like that is probably the best way to improve the quality of your thoughts and your brain function.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like you said, and meditation is the one type of thing that in many ways will automatically seep into all the areas of your life. Mm-hmm. And so that would have a tremendous effect on the spot every day that you go about it like that, because it's your energy that you're walking around with, and people respond to your energy. So if your energy is all scurried away and hurried and kind of running around like a headless chicken, well, that's how people are going to pick up on you, and that's the treatment you're going to get back, and that's how you're going to be molded as the type of person you are.
Yeah.
And so I think it's not. I do meditation as well, but I've actually developed a different type of meditation where I actually meditate while I dance.
No, we're in, yeah.
And I've noticed that at this point I've been dancing for about almost 10 years. I started when I was like 20, and meaning like I'm taking it seriously. Mm. And then I've noticed that not only that it from the get-go always just was super fun, but I felt like whatever stress I got from that day, immediately, boom, off my body. Mm-hmm. Because at some point, I'll enter this place in my mind where nothing else matters. Now, what I noticed was when I started getting really good, we're talking 3, 4, 5 years in, I noticed that I was able to now dance with my eyes closed without tripping and falling and shit, and do everything that I can with my eyes open. Only difference is that now I was getting visions in my head of how the future's playing out while I was dancing.
Word. That's dope.
Crazy shit.
Yeah, word.
Stuff that like I think words are gonna fail to explain. But I was essentially launched to this place that it was the current vision. In many cases, it's me playing live shows, huge arenas, sold out, and I'm doing what I'd be doing on stage, but I'm doing it by myself, say like my room. but my mind just straight up just takes me there.
Yeah, word.
And I'm sure you probably have experienced some stuff like that.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, so I do that, very intentionally as well. But so one of my favorite authors and spiritual teachers is this guy named Neville Goddard, and he used to teach the law of assumption. I don't know if he ever used the words law of attraction, but the law of assumption is basically assuming the feeling of whatever reality you want to manifest, and like projecting yourself into that future vision, and then creating those feelings in your body presently that would be there if you were experiencing whatever you want to experience. So when you're dancing, in your room, and you're imagining yourself and just visualizing that, that's really like you're helping to create that reality. It's like that's in the future, and by visualizing that and really creating those feelings, and especially when you're dancing, it's like you can really just get into it. I like it's like when you watch Michael Jackson dance, you see that, just
you feel
like it's the spirit coming
through.
You
feel it.
Yeah,
you feel he's in the zone.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing. If I'm doing qigong, or it's usually when I'm meditating, I'll a lot of times I'll clear my mind. I'll do a meditation and kind of let things settle, and then I always a lot of times I'll create the scene. Like I'll set up a scene, like I'm almost like writing a screenplay or something. You set the scene. You create the characters, usually me, and sometimes it's you, sometimes it's like Iron Chef Alex Guarnaschelli and Guy Fieri at the Rouge Foods 2-year anniversary, of our product launch, where we, just passed $2 billion in sales. I'll project that vision, and then I'll just watch it like a movie. Like I've kind of trained my imagination to the point where I can just visualize that, create that, and it just plays out like a movie, and that, really absorbing those feelings. And then it's just that's when the magic happens. That's when you really activate the law of attraction, and just and stuff just starts popping off. And, and the more you bask in it, it's the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. And another one of my favorite teachers, Abraham, Esther Hicks, channels this, entity called Abraham, or this collective consciousness, and, really teaches law of attraction. And they basically talk about, clearing your mind and getting into the place where you can just watch the movie, where you can just receive a vision of whatever you want to create, and just bask in those feelings. And they really teach, the same thing that Neville Goddard taught, that the feeling is the secret, feeling those feelings, and really basking in that future reality, or that vision, is how you create whatever you want to create. And whether it's your mind, body, or spirit, you can totally use that for improving yourself. The best way I found is to imagine yourself 5 years from now. What's your ideal body like? If you're
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Actually, so we can dive into the body stuff, but what I want to make a point is, we're going to see a consistency throughout this whole episode, which is they all work off of each other.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so, sure, sculpting your body is a physical thing, but it starts up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so going back to what you were saying about visualizing yourself, that's exactly what I did when I personally had hit my rock bottom as far as physique. I had gotten way lazy, neglected too many workouts, basically eating like crap all the time. And I wasn't fat by any means, but I was not proud of my body at all.
You weren't jacked.
No, not jacked by any means.
Yeah.
I was always athletic throughout my life, never overweight, but nothing to brag about.
Yeah.
And exactly what you just said was, I basically just closed my eyes, and in a very natural way. It wasn't like, Lucas, you need to think of yourself how it just popped up.
Yeah.
And I very much just was open to it. And I was I saw myself shredded, just fucking jacked, long hair, looking like Tarzan. And what do you know, 3 years later, your boy's walking Tarzan.
I know, right? Yeah, I've seen the before and after photos.
I'll put the before and after on the screen for people to check it out. And for the record, obviously, I don't look like I take steroids, but no enhancements of any kind. It was just purely tightening up my behavior and discipline. And for anybody out there who constantly keeps working out and not getting really results, assess how you're going about it when you're not in your workout. That will dictate a big percentage of your results. I've been guilty of it many times. I mean, still am, actually. I mean, I told you, I'm trying to like not eat late at night, but that's like a killer, eating late at night for people who want to build a good physique. Drinking, it's not going to help either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one, I've, struggled with. Like, I've never considered myself an alcoholic by any means, but like, just even wine, like a glass of wine, it's like, and I, totally justify it. But now that I'm plant-based, it's like that, it really just like wrecks me, it's like I'm way more sensitive to it. Plus I really, unless I'm eating like really heavy foods, if I'm drinking wine, it's like that stuff's really throwing off the balance of my stomach acidity.
And so let's talk about that for a second then, because what I figure we'll kind of hit each area the next 20 minutes. Break it up into 3 sections. But as far as talking about mind, what other tricks? Because I know within meditation, that in itself has several different methods of meditation. But I would go as far as saying even just short breathing exercises.
Yeah.
Like Iceman.
Wim Hof.
Wim Hof, my guy. Shout out to Wim Hof.
Yeah, shout out to Wim Hof for real. Yeah, I do.
We gotta get him on the podcast.
I take a cold shower every morning, and I do, the fast breathing. So what's funny is with the fast breathing, it's like it's very related to Kundalini and different yogic exercises like breath of fire or Brastrika. But basically, you breathe in and out like as full as you can, or shallow breaths depending on the technique. As basically as quickly as you can for like 10, 20, 30 counts or breaths, and then a lot of them you like hold your breath and then try to send your energy up from your spine to the top of your head.
And the actual feeling, you get this sort of lightheaded feeling, and you sort of immediately get this refreshed sort of like reset.
Yeah, especially with the cold water, it's like you can literally feel like your body releasing, chemicals like or the endorphins or whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, but like I literally cannot take a shower now without ending it with a cold shower.
Oh yeah, I start mine with a cold shower.
Oh, you start with a cold shower. Oh, that's ballsy. I used to do that, but
it's a mental thing. It's like once it creates your mental toughness, and this actually goes back and something I'll reference later, but to a body thing. It's like back in the day I was sick with Crohn's disease, and I like the one thing that would help was cold showers, but like it was like I'd have like a fever and stuff, and it was like one of the most intensely awful things I had to put myself through, but it also like helped so much that it's like after that, after facing a cold shower in the morning, it's like little things just don't seem as like daunting. It's like a Brian Tracy principle, who's actually one of my favorite self-improvement teachers, is basically eat that frog. Like if you and this is not a vegan analogy, but if you get up every morning and eat a live frog every day, like that's the worst thing that's going to happen to you every day. I'm going to come up with a vegan analogy for that. If you get up in the morning and eat a cup full of sea moss gel, or like
not on that ginger root.
Yeah. Take literally.
Well, I mean, like, what is it, like a vinegar shot?
Yeah.
Apple cider vinegar? Just down an entire bottle of apple
one.
Cider vinegar.
Yeah.
That stuff, honestly, I don't know about that one. I've always heard by many people talking about apple cider vinegar, just all these fantastic attributes to your body and health. I gotta be honest, I didn't feel. I was taking that stuff, and it was disgusting. It was like I put turmeric in there. You remember that? Yo, I'm actually getting the vibes going through my body just by talking about it. That's how.
What's so funny?
Gnarly it made you feel.
So we took shots of it, which is not recommended because it damages your esophagus and is bad for the enamel in your teeth. When did you
find this out?
Yeah, well, you're supposed to mix it with something that's like pacifies the acid, but
yeah, guys, don't take it by itself. It's gnarly.
Yeah, so if you take it, it's supposed to help balance your pH. It makes your blood more alkaline, and then it also is dissolve kidney stones or prevent kidney stones. So, you know, like it does have definite benefits, but it's not gonna like magically like, you know, just fix everything.
Yeah, I guess nothing does, you know? I mean, I get that. But I guess in regards to some other hacks that we might have, I guess we can jump into body.
Right.
I can get us going. Personally, when it comes down to your body, and I was fortunate that I have a dad that has his education and physical education.
Oh, nice.
And so when I was a kid, he put me in pretty much almost every sport you can think of. And then at one point, he basically just let me know, if you really want to get really good at something, you probably should just pick one sport as opposed to just playing a bunch. Mm-hmm. So I played soccer. That was my mastery sport. But like I said, then sports ended because you're not in school anymore. Mm-hmm. So you're not around a bunch of the buddies. You're not enrolled into a sports team. So that in itself kind of just took it took the mental discipline that you needed to have in many ways, because your schedule's just laid out for you. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, you still got to show up and you still got to be an athlete, but it was way more fun. It just all kind of happened. We're all just running around as kids. So that's that. But then this happens to pretty much everybody. Unless you leave school and go to college to be an athlete, almost everybody just kind of fucking doesn't get around to their workouts for the most part.
Falls off.
And, you know, starts to hit the partying, starts to hang out with the friends and whatever, or super focused on school and completely neglect working out. And most of us actually don't end up getting back on the train. Yeah, we just keep letting ourselves slip. Yeah. And I noticed that as a huge red flag when I was in college and even like late high school, which I noticed that people who were 4, 5, 6, 7 years older than me going to the mid-20s, I noticed a small percentage, I don't know if I have a number, but it's less than 50% was the people who were keeping themselves in check. They weren't athletes, they weren't fitness models, but they cared.
Yeah, word.
And then I noticed all the people who didn't and went down the road of like, I'm never working out, I don't really care about my diet. And I'm not gonna lie, when you start to get that dad bod, you know, that shit's real, yo. Like when you start to see that your body is shaping into something that is absolutely not impressive in any way, shape, or form, and you're literally soft. You're like soft. And in many ways, when you're soft physically, you're also soft mentally. Yeah. Those two things go hand in hand together. So
it's all, I mean, it all boils down to discipline. Yeah. I mean, it's all related, mind, body, and spirit. You know, meditation is a discipline too, or, you know, working out or dancing or like yoga and Qigong, and, you know, Tai Chi is a form of Qigong, but moving meditations like that, you know, it's like, that's a great way to keep your mind and your body and your spirit balanced.
That's one that I'm not going to lie, I wish I would have started sooner. I started doing yoga probably like in the last 4 months. And I do it almost every day now. The first physical thing that I do is starting with like a 20 to 30 minute session.
Word.
And I got to be honest, it's on point because you're getting a little bit of that meditation part.
Yeah.
Because it's got that essence to it. But then you're also getting not only the stretching, but a lot of these exercises are strength based too. Yeah. So you're working on your strength while you're stretching. And it's a great way to warm up your body.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, some forms of yoga and Qigong, like Hatha yoga or like White Tiger Qigong, like 5-animal Qigong, like that's, I'm studying White Tiger Qigong with Master Tevye Fang, and that like, it's intense, yo. It's like, it looks cool. It's like, I feel like, you know, I'm, you know, doing some like crazy Kung Fu stuff like in the, you know, Himalayan mountains or something, But yeah, it's like, it's some of those yoga like forms and some of the like forms of Qigong and Tai Chi. It's like, it's very intense. It's like very much like you're holding like kind of impossible positions sometimes. And it's just like, it really requires a lot of strength, and it's like, it's hard. It's not for the, you know, like faint of heart. And so it's like, it's discipline. And it's a very mental discipline, because a lot of times it's like you're in this weird position where you're using muscles that you never use. Yeah. And so it's like you feel like hella weak and like hella just like awkward and stuff. And so that's another thing. It's like for you to stick with it, you have to like get through it, you know, whether even if it's just going to the gym, you know, it's like I've been connecting with this chef, A.B. Sanders, who like he lost like he's down like over 150 pounds, like. Damn. Or 140 pounds or something like that. And I'm just like,
that's me. He lost me as a person.
That's me. I weigh literally, I just went to the doctor. I've lost weight because, you know, I've got Crohn's disease. I've had some health issues, but I weigh 143 pounds or as of like 2 weeks ago,
really?
You know?
Yeah.
And he like, yeah, I'm just like, yo, bro, like, I'm so impressed by you. I know. And he's like, his story's hella inspirational. Like I know he's going to inspire millions, yo.
That's crazy, yo. I love hearing those stories.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people like that out there.
It can be done.
Yeah,
and you just have to really care for it. Like you gotta want it,
and it takes discipline. You know, it's like you gotta want it, and you gotta show up every day. You know, it's like he's posting his videos, going to the gym, and you know, eating healthy. He's gone plant based. You know, he's like gone from eating fast food and like basically what society programmed him and told us all that it's okay to eat. You know, McDonald's and fast food and like. And then you exercise like 1 or 2 hours a week like that. I feel like there's, you know, this just like illusion that you can eat this crappy food and like, you know, exercise a little bit, like, you know, 7 minutes a day or some shit like that. Yeah. And like be ripped, you know, and then you get.
That's a problem, yo.
Yeah. It's
that's
like,
such a problem, to be honest.
Unrealistic expectations. You're setting people up for failure. And that's why, you know, people are depressed and have all this anxiety. It's like there's these impossible expectations, you know, in society. And also we're programmed to like, to make ourselves fat and, you know, stay home and like consume, you know, and it's like, it benefits the system, like the medical system, and like it's this crazy, you know. And it's like I don't mean to get on this conspiracy thing, but like people really you have to take control of your life and your health, and like you really have to break through a lot of the programming. It's like
you have to do your research,
yeah, and like, you have to figure out of your way. You also have to figure out what works for you because everyone really is different, and things are changing. There's so many contaminants and pollutants in our system these days that like. You really have to like, you know, go above and beyond to figure out what works for you and really stick to it and like not care what other people think and like not pay attention to what works for someone else because that's probably not going to work for you.
No, I agree. I think because we're in the information age, it's very easy to get caught up just browsing all the time. And because everybody and their mama has a course to sell you, they're going to tell you it's the right course for you because of X, Y, Z. And some people are really unethical about it. And they'll open it up to basically just anybody in the world is suitable for these courses when they're really not.
Yeah,
they're just trying to make money.
Yeah.
And so take it from me. You can get plenty of the information that you need right off the bat when it comes to pushing yourself physically the correct way with free information online. You actually don't need to pay any money. I can say that like the results that you guys saw from that, 0 courses paid. It was basically me subscribing to a bunch of different fitness channels, subscribing to people who had the results that I wanted.
Word.
Pay that. You got to pay attention to that part too.
Yeah, and that's through self-improvement in general, whether it's mind, body, or spirit. You know, it's like you go to the people, and that, you know, there's a lot of gurus out there. You know, a lot of like gurus who like haven't done the work. You know, and the thing is like the people who are most likely to like really have the knowledge are often the people who are like least likely to, you know, go out of their way to share it. So.
Mathematically impossible to have this many gurus.
Yeah, word. So it's like you got to do your research. You got to know who you're dealing with, and before you drop, you know, $500, $1,000, $1,500, $10,000 on one of these courses. And you know, but you know, on the flip side of that, there are masters out there.
No, yes,
who really
there
are teaching quality stuff that's really priceless. You know, that it's like even if you pay $10,000 for it, if that $10,000 causes you to value it and it causes you to commit to it and do the work, and it's like really valuable material, I really believe that $10,000 is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed this. There's 2 types of people when it comes down to the fitness road that decide to go on. The people who decide, I'm going to teach myself and I'm going to show up by myself and I'm going to do the workouts myself. And then you have the other percentage who say, I need a trainer. I need somebody to push me and tell me what to do in X, Y, Z. For the most part, most of those type of people don't end up getting the results they want long term. Meaning they might hit like a 6-month period where they feel hella good about themselves, but eventually they always fall right back.
Yeah.
And not all of those people, but a big percentage of those people.
Yeah.
I know this because I used to work at a gym.
Yeah,
I worked at multiple gyms, actually.
There are different personality types too, though, and like some people just like really need someone to kind of help manage them.
Which is why I said a percentage of those people actually do benefit.
Yeah.
Meaning they do get ripped, and eventually 3 or 4 years later they have enough knowledge,
Yeah.
and they just kind of naturally stop getting a trainer, and they just know what to do.
Yeah, we're in.
What's
funny is I feel like, a lot of the times when someone's successful, it's because they've been, showing up long enough to that they realize that there's not actually shortcuts. It's like, when you get into it, you're like, all right, I'm going to do the work and then I'm going to find some shortcuts and like take it easy, and it's like, if you really want to like have those consistent results and keep them, it's like, you got to show up, you got to like put in the work and you got to stick with it, and
it's what you said about eating that damn frog.
Right.
You go and you knock out 30 pull-ups in a row. You just sprinted around an entire park. You just went savage mode, and then you took a cold shower after that, and that's how you started your day. You think you're going to be scared to hop on a call with a person and close a deal?
Yeah, word.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I've really decided I'm gonna get an 8-pack. I'm going to get shredded to the gills. And every time that you walk out of the house and everybody's still asleep and you just kick your own ass just because you want to,
right?
That does something to your brain.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell like everybody out there who has done intense workouts and they have tried to push themselves to top level athlete status, they can tell you there's a reason why most athletes do really well in business. And it's because there's a component in your brain that gets activated, this essentially your drive to want to win.
Word.
And that carries over into things like business very well.
Yeah.
Or, for example, if you're a man and you want to be better with women, work out.
Yeah, word.
Not only are you going to be physically more attracted to them,
Yeah.
but you will get this certain type of confidence you would not ever be able to have if you were out of shape.
Yeah. Yeah, word. You'll get confidence, you'll work out, and then, like when you're like making love, like you'll
tear it up.
You'll be your performance will be much better.
So many fucking benefits.
Yeah.
So many benefits.
Yeah, word.
And your blood circulation gets better.
Word.
So downstairs gets bigger.
Yeah, word.
And so there's all these things that not a lot of people talk about.
Yeah.
And unless you go and you do the research, or actually, like you said, not even the research, you just do it. And so it starts to happen to you.
Word.
And that's the best way, in my opinion, to learn. Like, for example, when it comes down to the whole working out thing, I could watch videos about working out all fucking day.
Yeah.
But that's not going to do jack shit to me. So you got to watch videos for a certain amount of time that's small, 1 video a day, 2 maybe, and then get your ass out there.
Yeah. Or, while you're watching the video, do it,
That's also another, what do they call it? Do along with type of workouts. And we did that all the time. We started doing that stuff with a channel. I'll give them a shout out right now from Abnormal Beings.
Word, yeah.
Beast. I'll put a link, or I'll put the link to the channel. But yeah, search Abnormal Beings. And this is when about 2 years ago I decided to get into calisthenics. And for those of you who don't know, essentially it's workout with the bar. The bars that you have in parks and the gyms and you put in your door. That's what you do. Not all, you can also do things with on the dip bars. And so essentially bar work.
Yeah, word.
And it's
like with
all
your body weight.
Exactly. Yeah. Body weight. Now you can put more weight onto you, but nobody should start off like that. You should just do the basics by own body weight.
Yeah.
So this guy has fantastic HIIT workouts, 10-minute workouts.
HIIT, high intensity.
High intensity, HIIT.
Yeah.
High interval.
Or intensity interval training.
Yeah. And so I can definitely say this. The first workout that I put Brendan on after I had been doing his shit, it was a leg workout.
Oh, man. Sore for days.
Literally could not. I mean, this is not really a good thing to be that sore for that long, but it was so, it did us so good that I told Brendan, we saw each other like 4 days later, and I was like, dude, I'm still sore.
Yeah, no, we did it. No, the thing is, I was sore for 5 days. We did it a week later. And then the next week I was sore for like 2 days,
Right.
And then after that, it kicked my ass, like got me in shape. But it's like after that, I was ready, I actually did that yesterday. Yeah, I ran around Green Lake.
Oh, you ran?
I was like, it was one of those times I haven't been working out as much. So yeah, I like ran around Green Lake, and yeah, could feel it today. I went walking. I walked around Seward Park today, and I was thinking about walking around the whole thing. I was like, yeah, this is not a good idea. It's like I'm hella sore still. But
Do you ever take anything for pre-workouts or for post-workouts?
me personally, I actually, because I have such a sensitive digestive system, I've like really stayed away from like pre-workout stuff or like,
Yeah, that probably would fuck you up.
yeah, like even like some protein powders and stuff mess me up. You know, I'm allergic to casein, which is a milk protein. And so like usually if I'm like trying to get extra nutrients in, I'm like, you know, throwing some sea moss in a smoothie with some hemp seeds and like pumpkin seeds and
Sea moss, huh?
yeah, sea moss. Actually, it's got 92 out of like the 108 minerals that your body needs to survive, and it's like, you know, ton of fiber, ton of trace minerals, ton of vitamins. It's like one of the healthiest things you can eat. Actually, I have a recipe for how to make sea moss gel in my cookbook. It's super easy. You just soak sea moss in water for 4 hours and then blend it with filtered water.
There you have it, guys.
But I also, in my cookbook, I basically use it as an optional ingredient whenever I'm cooking. I just throw some extra in there to get extra nutrients. And yeah, it's like stuff like that. I'm really all about.
You'll have to make me one.
Yeah, it's super nutrient dense. Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm the smoothie king. I mean, my smoothies are pretty next level.
Yeah.
There's a reason they call them the Brazuca Special.
Yeah, word. Yeah, it's funny because your smoothies actually taste hella good, and there, you know, there's like peanut butter, you know, there's like hella protein and stuff in there. Caroline, you know, my girlfriend makes smoothies that are like super healthy, and so it's like she'll make a smoothie, and I'm like, yes, smoothie, and I'm expecting like a Lucas smoothie, and she'll, you know, it's funny, like, and I'm not talking shit at all. She'll co-sign on this, but I'll taste it and be like, oh yeah, it's a Caroline smoothie, and then it's funny, she was like, oh yeah, I should have told you, and I was like, I know.
Is it because I think
she'll put like one date in there or maybe two, but that's all the sweetener, you know. And
like, yeah, no, you gotta balance this shit
like
out.
Spinach and
For
hemp
people,
seeds and all types of like greens. And yeah.
I'll give a quick 10-second best smoothie you can make, and with the right viscosity.
Yeah, that's crucial,
the trick.
Yeah. And to me, it's like it's got to be cold. There's got to be enough frozen ingredients to where it's like cold without being watery,
exactly,
too icy.
That actually is one of the tricks. So you got to have frozen fruit. Not all of it, but the majority of the fruit needs to be frozen. You want to have the baseline of your fruit to be bananas, because bananas can be turned to that ice cream sort of.
Oh yeah, nice cream is frozen bananas blended with like some other fruit.
Nice cream?
Yeah, it's like a vegan ice cream.
Okay, word. Yeah. And so you need to have that, and then I put a fuck ton of spinach, and that's where the majority of my greens come from. Sometimes I like to either put some blueberries in there or some mangoes. Adds a few leaves of mint. That has a nice top line taste to it.
I like that.
And then you put to it, and if you need to add some additional viscosity, you want to have some peanut butter in there, which will help, or something like avocados.
Oh, weird, yeah.
And that you basically have that. You can throw whatever other ingredient, but that you have that in there, and you will have the taste, the right vibe, everything's just boom. Hell yeah. We got our sounds on point now, so you guys are gonna be hearing sound effects left and right. Yeah. And so I mean, I could say this: when it comes down to the pre-workout stuff, you're gonna have to do your research. I actually just purchased one today. I have been off pre-workouts for over a month now, and the one I was taking for 3 months, I was taking it very sporadically, so not every day. And I can say that they all work differently. Some are really gonna feel that they're really amping you to just kill it, and some you're gonna be like, the hell, what's happening? Some will make you want to run to the bathroom. And there goes your workout, because you're just making sessions to the bathroom in between each rep. It's absolutely horrible. Actually, C4 does that a lot for people who work out. C4 is a big brand, and their stuff on me and on other people have always done that type of stuff where you just got to go back to the bathroom. Oh, wow. And so I won't talk good about the one I just purchased today, but I did the research after I found this channel. And the channel is actually really good. I'll give them a shout out. More plates, more dates. And very intelligent individual with very intelligent content. Because he's a chemist and he's a bodybuilder. And so when it comes down to those two, you don't get a lot of bodybuilders who also know the ins and outs on the products themselves and how they're made.
Yeah, word.
And so that's really what got me going. And I started watching. He did a full hour breakdown of his pre-workout and talked about all of the ingredients, all of the different measurements and the right parameters as far as ratio that you should have, and then showcasing some of the other ones and how they basically try to pull a quick one on you by telling you they have this sort of 100% potent ingredient, but what they really do is they'll do this one thing and mix it with something else, and then that technically it passes as that thing.
Made with
and then they'll put it on the bottle saying you're getting the full dosage, and you're really getting like 1/6 of it. Oh. And so what they know is they've done this thing where kind of like what people do at bars in some places they've been caught, where they'll put alcohol on the brim, so when you taste the alcohol, you think it's stronger than it actually is. Okay, so same type of thing that they do for pre-workouts. They'll put in all kinds of different sugars, so you get that sugar high, which you think it's kicking in, it's working. And in some ways, yeah, sure, getting some sugar in your system, some glucose will help you have more energy. But you don't want the base of 100% of your energy to be sugar.
Yeah.
So bottom line, I would say definitely check out that channel. Fantastic information.
What's it called again?
More plates, more dates.
Oh yeah, we can put it up.
We'll put it up. I'll put up a flash on the screen. And aside from that, I'm gonna try it. It should be arriving in the next few days, and maybe I'll put another before and after picture. I'll do one today, and then I'll do one that's gonna be at the end when I'm done using it, so you guys can see if it. I can say this for a fact: when I've not been taking it, I've been pretty good about maintaining my stuff, like my physique, but I have not really felt like I am getting more results. Like I'm not consistently going forward.
Yeah.
And I think it's got to do with the fact that sometimes when you're not taking anything, you just 100% natural, your body recovers slower, and you have overall less strength to get through workouts at a high intensity the whole way through. And that's what I've noticed to me, which is some days I feel great with nothing and I can do a full workout, no problem. Some days you kind of need that extra kick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's I feel like if I'm eating enough calories on a daily basis, I actually feel best and kind of work out best and perform best when I've been fasting. So
I want to talk about that. Let's talk about that. Intermittent fasting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or fasting in general, but I do intermittent.
I do intermittent fasting every day. Like occasionally I'll, like if I'm really hungry in the morning, I'll eat something at like 10 a.m. But like pretty much every day I wait till at least noon before I eat anything. I'll do black coffee, and then sometimes I'll do like green juice. Like I try to juice every day. I usually don't. But at least 3 or 4 times a week. And if I can't juice myself, I'll go either to a juice bar or to the store and get some like bottled juice or something. Yeah. But yeah,
So in regards to juicing is amazing.
Yeah.
I've never really had.
That's my real pre-workout. That's how I get juiced, is like with actual juice.
Yeah, because I remember when we were juicing. Almost daily.
Yeah, pretty much daily at the house, yeah.
I pretty much stopped juicing just for the simple fact that I haven't gotten around to getting one.
Yeah.
We don't really have the means to have one here.
Yeah, I actually thought about bringing my juicer here, but it's like, our kitchen setup is not really conducive for all that.
And so intermittent fasting has done a lot for me.
Me too.
So I would say that if I hadn't, and I started doing intermittent fasting around the same time I started doing calisthenics, I was finding all that information all at once. My dad has always talked to me about fasting. He fasted, not necessarily for the same reasons I was fasting. He was fasting more for spiritual reasons. And he would do it for like a full day on like a Sunday.
Yeah.
And so I've always been interested in the idea of fasting for a day, 2 days. But I'll be honest, I've never been able to get to the point where a full day, I've gotten to like 8 p.m. sometimes, and then I cracked. And it wasn't even because I was that hungry. It was because it was like it's built into you as a habit.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that's a good segue. I think we should, wrap up body and get on the spirit, but I can't wrap up body without talking about my experiences with fasting and related, like the main reasons I fast. I actually did a 7-day fast in January, but it was because I had, digestive issues. It's like I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2006. I had issues for about 5 years before that. Also diagnosed with celiac disease. But my thing with fasting is like a lot of times my intestines get so inflamed that the best thing for them is for me to just stop eating food. Just do like fresh juice, and like I'll do like veggie broth. I used to drink bone broth. I used to make bone broth every week.
I remember.
For my digestive health. And really, you want to talk about before and after pictures. We can flash my before and after picture too, because when I back in 2016, I was on tour. I was working a promotional tour for like an energy drink, and then another one for a Scotch company, where I was going to food and wine events. Super fun. Like I was going to did LA Food and Wine Festival, like Taste Philadelphia, and like basically these big, Chicago Gourmet Fest, like these big, food and wine shows where it was literally our job. We'd go there, work 12, 15-hour days for 2 days straight, setting up this tasting room. And then we do a 3-day festival where it's 12 hours. We're at this festival. Once we're there, we don't really have to do too much. It's we hired a team of people to manage it. But so I'm going out and tasting all this food. I've got celiac, and food allergies. And so I got super sick. At the end of that year, I had to quit all my work and basically stay home. I, ended up moving back in with my parents just because I was literally unable to work for months. I couldn't even stand up for 2 or 3 hours at a time, because my digestive health was so crazy, just impaired. And then so for the next 6 months, I intermittent fasted every day. I did, I started with just a few day fast where I just did liquids. And I was on pharmaceutical. I went back on pharmaceuticals. I've tried to treat my Crohn's disease just with natural remedies, but I even, I was I'll do whatever it takes, and I'm pretty skeptical or reluctant to use harsh drugs or, but yeah, it's because of, Crohn's disease, it's a lot of the self-improvement stuff. It's if you're gonna get to a place where you can work out and improve yourself, you have to be able to just function on a basic level. And there's so many people just in our system that are dealing with chronic illness or digestive issues or whatever. And it's really, I really just want, I guess what I'm trying to express is that it's really important on a self-improvement, for your mind, body, and spirit, for you to just get to a place where you're not fighting against your body, where you're at a basic level of health. And so you have to find out, if you're allergic to something, you need to figure out what it is and stop eating it or drinking it or whatever. And, it's you don't have to conform to what other people do. It's you can, if alcohol makes you sick, when you go out, you don't have to drink alcohol, or if you're gluten-free and people are trying to get you to just eat whatever, you really have to do, sometimes it, it takes a lot of courage and self-discipline, but you have to do whatever it takes to be okay for yourself and to manage and to take care of your personal health. So that, honestly, it's before you even get to a point where you can improve your body, you have to be okay. And so, yeah, it's in 2017, I went through that. It took me 6 months to rebuild my body. I got down to 120 pounds, and literally was puking 2 or 3 times a week or more, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
Damn.
And just because food, almost every food just aggravated my system. And I had, I went on this basically keto diet called a specific carbohydrate diet, and really just self-discipline just rebuilt my health. And so yeah, that's my body story. And now I'm just thinking about that, and some of those times where I was just super sick, I'd be trying to puke and I couldn't, and the only thing my kidneys would start to hurt, and the only thing that would help is a really freezing cold shower and just like staying in there, and which is like when you have a fever is like one of the like most awful feelings in the world.
Oh yeah, I hate that.
But yeah, so
that's so bad.
Yeah, so but
that's crazy, man.
That actually, that experience, and this is a good segue into the spirituality. It's like that experience. There was times where I remember, one time in specifically, but it happened about 5 times when I was on tour, where like I'm on the floor of either a hotel room or a hostel. Like one time at the Cleveland hostel, and like thankfully the 6-person hostel room I was in I was the only one in there. But I'm like having this crazy. I think it was an allergic reaction to something, but I felt like I was dying. I actually, that night, I like had the thought, like, if I were to die tonight, at least I wouldn't be in so much pain. It's like, I was like, but it also scared the shit out of me. I was like, if I died, like, what would my life mean? And it was like facing my death, like, and like kind of just embracing it, just like whatever happens is fine. And just like, there's something like, if you have a chronic illness, it's like you're almost always trying to position your body or like do something to escape the pain, and getting to that point where it's like you can't escape it and you just have to surrender to it and just like embrace it. It's like taking a cold shower. You're just like, I'm in it, like I'm here. There's like, what else can I do? It is what it is, and then after that I was just like I'm wasting my life. I was on this tour like promoting some energy drink at the time, and I'm just like, this, it really, like, since then, it's like I've opened a cafe, I've like, I've put out a couple cookbooks, I've really, rebuilt my health, I've helped other people, with their digestive health, and like, my purpose in life is to help people heal, and like, the spirituality is like a lot of, because of the physical trials I went through and mental trials, it's like that has opened up spirituality for me, and actually when I was in those most painful situations, the thing that helped the most was meditation. It was like when I completely surrendered, it was like the ultimate state of meditation, to where you're accepting everything as it is and embracing it, not trying to run away from the pain or discomfort or joy or whatever you're feeling in the moment. And so really like meditation, like, has allowed me to come through that experience like much stronger, and as a gift. It's like I'm so grateful that I have had Crohn's disease and had all these experiences, because otherwise I feel like I'd be asleep. I wouldn't have discovered my purpose in life, and I wouldn't know why I'm here. And yeah, it's like, it's interesting because now I spend like all my time just looking up like spiritual, I read spiritual texts, and really just trying to figure out like the mechanics of like the chakra systems and like energies and stuff. And like the most influential and impactful spiritual teachers I've come across, it's been this journey where I started with Deepak Chopra and Brian Tracy, even, starting with self-improvement, and then, Deepak Chopra getting into meditation, and then Wayne Dyer, really helped me like reprogram my mind, and like really helped me realize that I can choose the thoughts that I think, and that I can choose like what I create in my life and what I choose to manifest in my own life. And then, kind of discovering Sadhguru, and like really just like, he's just, a mystic. Like, you can tell he has just higher levels of perception, and like, and teaches techniques for, creating yourself, like engineering your mind and body and spirit in a way that's going to make you the most effective human being you can possibly be. And then, going beyond that to like the law of one, where it's like, it explains like the different densities and the different levels of consciousness, and like Dolores Cannon talking about how the earth was created, and like ancient technologies and civilizations, and then like aliens and stuff, and like how we, consider, like, you look at like spiritual texts like the Bible and stuff, and it talks about angels and stuff, and like depending on what context you use, like that, those could be aliens. It's like they just all, I feel like all this stuff is just so, interrelated, and I'm just so grateful that, because of my challenges and like my interests, it's like the mind and body part has really just led me on this spiritual path of discovery. And yeah, it's just, I feel like there's so much content out there for me to explore, and like so much for me to learn and like, you know, share with other people that, you know, I won't have enough time in my life to pursue it all.
We won't have enough time here.
I know, right? Yeah, I know.
I'm like, damn, this guy's fucking going off, dude.
Spirituality, it's like, you know, get me started. I almost
Goddamn
stopped
parade
talking,
over here.
So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with spirituality, yo. I'm like, do you have spiritual practices that, you know, or spiritual teachers that have really impacted you?
Spiritual teachers.
Yeah. Or, I mean, what?
No, so actually, I actually am not that into following other leaders like that. Mm-hmm. I definitely have showcased in the past where people have tried to get their leaders on front of me so I could get affected by them. And I never fell into it, never liked it, never enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I think you probably picked up that from me too.
Well, so like, we went to that Vedic temple,
yeah,
and like, you know, and it's funny. It's like, even you and I coming into it, we have our own mindset where it's like, we are sovereign beings in our own world. We're not looking to go to some temple for like someone to tell us, you know, what to do spiritually.
So on a personal level, I say this: when you go out to get guidance and help, make sure that you know exactly what you're getting guidance for, and that person that's helping you has an expertise in that. Okay?
Right.
So this is the mistake I see most people doing, taking advice from the wrong person. So for example, you're taking advice from your parents on how to be better with your finances, but your parents are not wealthy. Or you're getting advice from your homie on how to work out better, but your homie is borderline fat. And so if I wanted to become great at golfing, I'd probably try to get a hold of Tiger Woods. But if I wanted to have a successful marriage, I probably wouldn't take Tiger Woods' word. I'd probably go to my dad for that.
Right.
And so you need to pick and choose what you're going to get from that person you're trying to get educated from. Aside from that, I definitely learn from other people, no doubt about it. But as far as, do I show up religiously to listen to a person so I can get more clarity in my life? Never. I can say this: my biggest spirituality, I guess, call it like fast track, was when I started to make music. So music for me, for those of you who don't know, I'm a music producer. And when I understood the language of music and how it is the only language that can go past barriers of countries, and you can actually connect with a person and not even speak the physical language that they speak, but you both understand what this song is all about. This is one of the first times I realized this. It absolutely like blew my mind away of how powerful frequencies are into your brain.
Right. Yeah.
And so when I understood that an individual is behind the scenes making these songs, picking every song, making all the melodies, constructing the entire song, the whole vibe gets constructed from zero to something. And then somebody else is vibing in their room to that song, totally just taking in that energy and letting it just kind of do its thing. And so I remember for a fact that when I started to make music, I had almost zero knowledge on overall just music, like just the mastery of understanding music by default, like instruments and things like that. So everything that I touched was just like a kid at a fucking candy store. Every new note that I would find out, chords, sequences, different BPMs make you feel different types of ways.
Yeah.
Vocals, sounds that are brighter, sounds that are darker, and you start to find out all of this sort of music theory, and you understand, or you should understand, that it's limitless. It's truly limitless. You can make whatever you want, however much you want, however way. Everything about it is limitless. And so, on a spiritual level, I found out that it does matter what you put into your music.
Right.
It does matter how you're feeling while you're making the music. And so I do think that I've seen it get highlighted more often now recently, that like hip hop is known for this. where hip hop started in a very positive way. Started talking about like real life stuff, you know, not a lot of swearing, more like respect, trying to build my life type stuff. And it suddenly just took a turn.
Oh, yeah. A dark turn.
A dark one.
Yeah. And we reference that. Yeah.
And so it's widely known to artists that you kind of get what you put out. And a lot of the artists who were always kind of dying, either by some situation or by just suicide, you go back and you listen to their music. It's pretty dark. A lot of it was pretty dark in many ways. Not all the songs, but too many for you not to be like, this person is living in that place.
Oh, yeah, word.
And so if you ever have your favorite artist, whatever, and you notice that they're just constantly putting out these sort of depressing, sad songs, don't be surprised if you hear unfortunate news about that artist down the road.
Yeah, what do you think about someone like The Weeknd, who actually
I knew you were gonna say that.
I thought it was and this is a little side note, I think it is a tragedy and probably the biggest conspiracy I've heard in recent times that The Weeknd didn't get nominated for any Grammys.
Yeah, everybody called him out for it.
That's ridiculous, yo.
So I guess what do I think about him? I mean, like, because his song is more on the sad spectrum.
He has a lot of references to like, you know, suicide or like overdosing or like, you know.
I think he's actually sad a lot of times, and just like a lot of artists have been. They found out through actual studies that in depression, 80% of artists experience depression.
Yeah, weird.
Which is the highest mark amongst all types of human beings. For whatever reason, artists just, which I guess is why we can make dope art, because you're supposed to feel it.
Yeah, word.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I can say this. I didn't start making dank music until I went through like first heartbreak, like actual heartbreak. What had happened was, up until that point, your boy was just too fly to care. Just everything I touch is gold. I don't care. I'm just too awesome. And you can't make a sad song if you don't feel that. Not that you currently feel sad, but you didn't. At one point, you can remember how you felt at a certain point, and you can bring that back and then make a song about it. Well, I got to be honest. In a way, I was incredibly grateful for going through the experience, because it now allowed me to make a whole other section of music I wasn't able to make before.
Yeah, word.
And hopefully you can hear it on the music. You can hopefully hear it on my voice.
Yeah,
you can feel the experiences.
Where can people get your music?
Well, my official website, lucasmoraesmusic.com.
Sweet.
But then you can just search on any social platform, Lucas Moraes Music. Or if you just go to your favorite streaming like Pandora, Spotify, whatever, just search Lucas Moraes. That is it.
Nice. Yeah, I think we should definitely do an episode on like frequencies, vibration, music, and how all that plays in.
I'm down
to affecting people.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. And so, I mean, honestly, I feel like we could make a 2-hour episode right now.
Yeah, we're in.
I say we do like a part 2.
Yeah, we're in.
But aside from that, top of the hour, it was a good one.
Yeah. Too much to fit in 1 hour.
Way too much.
Yeah.
And so that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back next week. Take it easy.
Peace.
Thanks for watching this episode from Appropriate Culture. If you want to watch other episodes, make sure to make your way to appropriateculture.com. You can also hang out with us in other social media platforms. They're all in the link in the description. And aside from that, if you want to listen to the podcast on other platforms like Audible, Spotify, any of those, you can also find us there as well. Link in the description. Take it easy, guys. Have a good day.